Okay, this is a follow-up Q&A with Nina. Nina about the my lecture on rental gallery at the Columbia University. We didn't have time, and also Nina's question was very long. So do you have the record of your question at that time?
I don't have the full thing written out here, but I do remember the basics of what the question was trying to ask.
Let's see if we can share the screen. Can you see your?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the last one is your question. So if you like, you can read it, Nina. It's your question.
Sure. Okay, so thank you for the talk. And so I was thinking, I wanted to know more about your experiences accessing documentation of these shows and spaces, and how they may have shaped your research. So while documents from certain galleries have certainly been collected by museums and archives in Japan, and you also referenced Bijutsu Techo and other periodicals in your talk, I imagine much of this information had to be pieced together from disparate sources. So I wonder what sources you've looked to predominantly in forming your images of these institutions, and if you have found the accessibility of information on these galleries has changed in recent years. And that sort of goes along with this last part of the question, which is to what degree have you sort of found the need to facilitate or advocate for the collection or archiving of this kind of information in your own work?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. I think first I want to preface that the many of my research, even in just a partially based on my experiences from the late 70s and 80s, when I was in Japan, and then I began to think about art history as my central, the focus of my life. So I had my share of gallery going, not in Tokyo, but in Osaka, Kyoto area. And then at that time, I didn't know much about avant-garde, but the more moderate, progressive, modernist works, artists. And then sometimes they are showing in the, rental gallery. Sometimes they are showing the commercial gallery. And then I didn't really make distinction of them, but I knew that at that time at Bijutsu Nenkan, at annual Bijutsu Nenkan was a major publication once a year. Basically, that's not only who's full of art world, but it includes all the members of Dantai, if you can believe it, with their addresses, and then telephone number, and then all the names of the Critics Association members, name, address, and telephone number, and then independent artists who didn't belong to the those dantai, and then many more. So the gallery list is one of them, and I knew that they they indicate they had the same structure of the listing them for a long time. So I had some quite concrete image of what rental galleries are. Like in the talk, I introduced the gallery Yamaguchi, which is part rental gallery and then part commercial, or also curated and then also representing. So the diversity of rental gallery, I was aware too, and then the distinct difference when you step into at the gallery Yamaguchi rental show and then the curated show, it's very different. You can see the quality of work is kind of different. and then so on and so forth. So like that's the 70s, 80s, 90s, even some of those are, like operating to now. So like I knew like the sense of what these are. So what I wanted to do is actually I wanted to make sure we have a good description of what they are and who they are, and then so on and so forth. So Visual was really a good source because numerically and then also geographically, and then it lists it's a very overall comprehensive list. In terms of gallery record, there's a culture of compiling kirokushu. Kirokushu is like the records of a gallery or an artist or event or like so. Kirokushu is the one method of archival research. Often the time they are published as a book. For example, let's see if I can. Okay, it's sideways, but it's gallery 16, and then it's 50 years of gallery 16. It's in Kyoto. It's a rental gallery, but also curating gallery. So like Nomura Hitoshi, and then Hikosaka Naoyoshi, and then many other important Kansai artists showed here. And then there, the kirokushu is quite extensive. Often the time those kirokushu comes with the list of exhibitions they had, and then sometimes they had the discussion and then so on and so forth. So there are good number of these things. This type of kirokushu, for example, like a gallery 16, Akiyama, Ban, Chofu, Green, Heian, Inax, Kanransha, Kimura, Kimaira, Maki, Minami. Minami is a commercial gallery. Miyuki, Muramatsu. Muramatsu is a very important one, actually. They have a very extensive again, this is sideways, but the very extensive, very thick, the kirokushu. Often the time, those kirokushu, in the case of gallery 16, a gallery staff compiled it. It's a labor of love, actually. In Muramatsu's case, when they practically stop stop the operation and close the gallery, they put together the kirokushu, which is a list of exhibitions they organized, and then also if they have the clippings of the reviews and such. And then one of these, in this line, Naika Gallery was researched by Miyata Yuka, who actually appeared in my talk at Tokyo University. And then who is the daughter of the Naika Gallery owner, Miyata Kunio. And then her research serves as a major resources, one of the major resources for me. And then since as I made a claim that the Naika is one of the comparable to Sogetsu Art Center in terms of as a nexus or platform of the experimentalism in Japan at that time, I thought that's why I focus on Naika and then put together that talk. So that's my background. And then I forgot if I say this at the Q&A at Tokyo University or Columbia, but often the time the the rental gallery is a small operation because it's the main property is the space, and then space is managed by the artist who rent it. So the owner, you don't really need anything. You need a desk in a small room. Uh, in Tokyo, often the time, small commercial galleries have just a small desk, but it's usually more than one personnel to manage the operation. So it becomes the archives are basic. You know, direct mail material, announcements and postcards, and then also another important thing in Japan. Also, we have the similar thing in the United States too, but those what's that, the sign book, name book, the guest book, yeah. And then those are actually very interesting document to look at who came, but also the like what kind of people came, and so on and so forth. So that's the situation. I'm not sure. For example, Muramatsu's I should be able to. Okay, Muramatsu's what happened to their archives? Because that's something I have to inquire. I don't want to say anything without knowing. It's only recently that the museums began to pay attention on the like a commercial gallery or artist archives as a very useful resource for research as well as their exhibition activities. So I actually don't know. Okay, that's my long answer to your long question.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I remember there was the show at the Museum of Modern Art Tokyo a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
that had
that's a good one. Mm-hmm.
Some of those documents, but it was totally overwhelming because it's, you know, multiple galleries that they had all of those documents from. But yeah.
Yeah, and then also if you don't know the galleries or what they, a general idea of what they did, it's like stepping into a completely new world. So yeah, I enjoy that show. Those are the good the exhibition. The important thing is we can use it for our research, I think. That's the beginning. The museum can show it as an archival exhibition, and then that's of itself is very important, and then direct our attention to important resources. But then we have to use it to do research. Like I remember there was the Akiyama Gallery's newsletters, I think. And then that's very important to understand Monoha, and then probably post-Monoha too. And then so from like a 70s, it's still wide open in terms of post-war Japanese art history research and study. And then those are the becomes important resources. I hope. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so shall we finish like this?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nina, asking me this question. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.